Welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for joining me once again here on the channel. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me as we dive into this DCEU news. So, over here on Cosmic Book News, they're making a lot of big, bold claims about Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck possibly coming back to the roles. They've put out a lot of articles in the last week or so that are saying that they're exclusives, they have the insider track, the insider information about, the Saudis buying out Warner Bros. Discovery, making all these kind of bold statements. So, as we read into this article, I just want to implore you guys, please take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if this is true, I don't know if it's partly true, I don't know if it's completely false, I really don't know where the truth lies in this story. But, as a fan, I want to read through this with you guys, pick up on this information and see what's going on. We can come to our own conclusions and then kind of see what parts we think are real, what parts may be made up. But regardless, they make some pretty big statements here. So let's dive in and let's see exactly what Cosmic Book News are saying about what's going on with these characters and the wider Snyderverse here. So, Henry Cavill back as Superman, Ben Affleck possibly Batman, Snyderverse updates, and then they say exclusive. Okay, let's go down here. So I have an update on the return of the Snyderverse and what I'm hearing from my insiders. So again, the person who wrote this article, who works for Cosmic Book News, they're saying they have insiders who know about the deal. They have information, exclusive confidential information. So yeah, take it with a big grain of salt, like I say. Before getting into it, here's the current situation. Variety reported that the Saudis are teaming with Paramount for a full Warner Bros. Discovery takeover. Shortly after, Paramount publicly denied this report, so no matter how this turns out, the bottom line stays the same. The Saudis want Zack Snyder back, and they want the Snyderverse restored. If the Saudis back Paramount and win, Snyder wins. If they back Comcast and win, Snyder still wins. Either way, Snyder comes out ahead. So yeah, for those of you who may not know, Zack Snyder is actually working with the Saudis at the moment. He's already in development on a UFC fighting movie with the Saudis. So he's already got a working relationship with them. So the fact is, if the Saudis become involved in the purchase of Warner Bros. Discovery, Zack Snyder's already working with them anyway. So whether they would reinstate the Snyderverse in its entirety, Justice League 2 and 3, Ben Affleck Batman movie, Henry Cavill's Man of Steel 2, or whether they would just maybe start off with one film to start with. Maybe they'll just bring back Ben Affleck and just do the Batman film. See how that performs, then maybe they'll take the Snyderverse forward. We don't know, if the Saudis were to be involved, would they reinstate the Snyderverse? Would they completely just not bother with the Snyderverse? Is it all being blown out of proportion? Would they continue to work with Zack Snyder but on original films and then not reinstate the Snyderverse? That could be a possible option, or they could just reinstate the whole thing. I mean, at this point, we just don't know. There's so much information, so many rumors, we just don't know what's true at the moment. So we'll have to keep our eyes out and see if there's any confirmation or any, official news sources that kind of, give us that information at some point in time. So, as I tweeted, the wild card is President Donald Trump, who has been reported to be backing Skydance Paramount, while Trump is said to dislike Comcast CEO. My insiders point out that Comcast positioned itself for a Warner Bros. Discovery bid by creating a separate company to dump the networks Trump hates. So that issue may not stop anything. My insiders told me that Zack knows exactly what is going on with Trump, and that's why Zack posted that Henry Cavill Superman image on Veterans Day. And then there's an update here. The White House just announced a massive deal worth $600 million with the Saudis after meeting with Trump. Yeah, so I mean, the news just gets all the more complicated. We have Saudis, we have Zack Snyder, we have Comcast in the mix, we have Donald Trump doing a deal with Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, there's so much going on here. I mean, what exactly is happening? Whatever's happening, we know that Saudi Arabia is involved now with Donald Trump in a big way. And it looks like Donald Trump is backing Paramount and Skydance to purchase Warner Brothers, along with the Saudis. So, yeah, there's so much. This is becoming more complicated by the day. Okay. So, actors expected to return. So, this is where it gets interesting. If the Snyderverse truly comes back, that means the actors return to their roles. I'm told Henry Cavill is back as Superman. Gal Gadot is back as Wonder Woman. Of all the characters likely to come back, in my opinion, Gal Gadot, I mean, she's the most likely one to come back, in my opinion. Because, yeah, I just think that she is. Jason Momoa will be back as Aquaman. I'm not sure I believe that because he's playing Lobo in the new DC Cinematic Universe. Is he going to have a big role in James Gunn's DCU going forward? If so, then he's not going to be coming back as Aquaman, is he? Ray Fisher back as Cyborg. I don't think Ray Fisher's got busy schedule, so it's possible that he could come back. They were going to do a Cyborg movie at one point, I remember that, and then they all of a sudden scrapped it, which was a shame because his Cyborg was a fantastic character, and he could have had a great solo movie. He really could have. Ezra Miller as the Flash, I'm told doubtful. Yeah, Ezra Miller's too much of a liability. Remember that video footage that came out where he had that fight with that woman at a bar in Iceland? And also there was reports that he kidnapped a child or something? Like really crazy allegations against Ezra Miller. I don't know what's true and what's not. Obviously that video footage of him choking that woman, that came out, so that was real. But the other reports about Ezra Miller's behavior, and he just went off the rails. Like he had a mental health breakdown, and he's too much of a liability. When you've got hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, marketing a movie, paying for a movie, you cannot have liabilities like Ezra Miller running around. You just can't. So I doubt they would have him back. But I mean, of all the people coming back, Ezra Miller is like one of the only cast members that you could recast, and I don't think anyone would care. A lot of people want Grant Gustin in the role. Get Grant Gustin. He's a fan favorite. People wanted him as the Flash from the beginning. So, I mean, Grant Gustin's just over there, man. Just give the guy a call. He would definitely come in and play the Flash, and people would love it, man. People would lose their minds. Could you imagine if we got the Snyderverse back, and then the cherry on top of the cake? By the way, Grant Gustin's going to be coming in to play the Flash. People would lose their damn minds. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. It's not even happening, but I'm getting excited about it. It's so weird. Okay, the Ben Affleck question. The biggest unknown is Ben Affleck. If you followed the last decade of drama, you know he's been burned multiple times, including being cut from the real ending of The Flash. My insiders say Affleck possibly returns as Batman, but warn it's a lot of work physically. I mean, you look at Batman v Superman, that scene where Bruce Wayne is working out in the Batcave, and you see Ben Affleck's physique, man, he was in fantastic shape. He looks so good, man. Getting back to that physical kind of look of his body, especially at his age. I mean, how old is Ben Affleck now? Is he like mid-50s? Late 50s, something like that? I don't know off the top of my head. But getting in shape, the older you get, obviously it's harder to maintain that shape the older you get. So it would be a lot of work. But I mean, if the character means that much to him, then I'm sure he would, put himself through it. But it's a lot of work. So Snyder's plan and what comes after. I'm told that the plan is for Snyder to finish his Snyderverse. I'm told that Saudi's Warner Brothers Discovery deal has been in the works for some time. It's also the reason that Zaslav, the current CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, passed on Paramount's earlier bids 3 times. Zack is close with the Saudis, and they want his storyline back to rival Marvel in the upcoming Avengers films. I mean, as much as it would be amazing to have the Snyderverse restored, it's not going to rival the next Avengers film, man. We've got Doomsday and Secret Wars, 2 of the biggest stories when it comes to Marvel films. These films are going to be like nearly $2 billion hits. Like, Doomsday is going to make I think Doomsday is going to make around about 1.5 billion, but Secret Wars, man, that's going to make a shit ton of money. But there's no way that the Snyderverse is going to be reinstated and make the same amount of money or rival an Avengers film. We haven't had the build up, we haven't had the time to get the fans on board, and it's just not going to rival it in terms of box office. In terms of quality, absolutely. It could even outpace a Marvel film in terms of quality if they do a great job reinstating it. But when it comes to box office, there's no way that a Justice League movie would rival a Marvel Avenger box office. It just wouldn't. I know it's unpopular to say, but it wouldn't. We need to be realistic about it. Okay, after Snyder completes his arc, I'm told DC will reboot again, likely under Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, the current heads of Warner Brothers Discovery Pictures. The fate of DCEU and James Gunn. Regarding James Gunn and DCEU, I'm told that if Paramount and the Saudis are indeed teaming up, James Gunn's DCEU is toast, and Gunn will be forced out due to Gunn's divisive politics. Gunn, the head of DC Studios, posted and said nothing on Veterans Day. I'm also told that Gunn's Man of Tomorrow is just the original plans for Man of Steel 2 with Brainiac. I have been told that if Comcast Universal ends up buying Warner Brothers Discovery, there's a real chance Gunn could actually team with Zack Snyder for the Snyderverse return. That would be crazy. I mean, I don't know how people would feel about that. If the Snyderverse was to come back, would you object to James Gunn and Zack Snyder teaming up and then bringing back the Snyderverse? I'm not sure I'd be against that. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about it, because I do like some of James Gunn's films, like his Guardians of the Galaxy I enjoyed. So I don't think he's a bad filmmaker. I don't think Superman's fantastic. and I don't think Peacemaker's fantastic, but I don't think James Gunn's a bad filmmaker. So him working with Zack Snyder, I'm not sure how I'd feel about that. I'd love to know what you guys think. My insiders say one idea being floated is Gunn writing the Justice League 2 script, with Chris Terrio already having a statement, and Snyder directing. It would be a full circle moment since James Gunn and Snyder both got their starts at Universal with Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, exactly. They've worked together before on Dawn of the Dead, which is kind of crazy. So could you imagine that coming back together, those two guys, and working on Justice League 2 and 3? I would rather take that than nothing, put it that way. But yeah, I mean, James Gunn and Zack Snyder working together, that's a crazy notion. I don't see that happening. I really don't. There's a minuscule 0.00001% of that actually happening. But you never know. Crazy things happen in the world sometimes, so we'll have to wait and see. But guys, what do you make of this news? I mean, there's so much to dive into here, so much to digest. Trump being involved, the Saudis being involved, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill supposedly coming back, Ezra Miller, you know, being a liability because of the problems he's had. What do you make of this news? Jump into the comment section. What stands out to you? What do you think is true? What do you think is fiction? I mean, there's just so much news to dive into here. But as always, I want your insights. I want your thoughts in the comment section, because it's just getting crazier by the day. There's so much news. But it's a great time to be a DC fan with the fandom being hyped up as it is, even though this may never come to fruition. But guys, leave your thoughts, your comments, your theories, your opinions, anything else you want to talk about regarding Zack Snyder, James Gunn, the Justice League, DC, DCEU, whatever it may be. Love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.